7.6, we're looking at, here's a video on solving with half angles. So here we want to get this trig function by itself with the half angle by itself, okay? So we divide by 2 on both sides, and we want our answers from 0 to 2 pi and all solutions. So that's in radians, and then we add 2 pi n basically to our answers that we get. So we divide by 2 on both sides, so then we have our trig function by itself. Even that angle, x over 2, we leave it as x over 2. And now we ask ourselves, okay, sine of what angle is 1/2? Or you could write the inverse way, right? Inverse of 1/2 equals x over 2. So that is pi sixth. So pi sixth and 5 pi sixth. So that equals x over 2. Then we can times these by 2, right, to get rid of dividing by 2 here. So we times these each by 2, and we get pi thirds, and we get 5 pi thirds. And so those are our x's around the 0 to 2 pi, and then all we have to do for our general solutions or all solutions is just take these and add 2 pi n. Add 2 pi n. So those are our general solutions, or all solutions. Okay, so here's number 73. You want to get the sines by themselves, right? And these are the same type of sines, or the angles are the same, right? So we can go ahead and actually move this over to the other side of the equation by adding. And these two are the exact same, so we can literally add them. We have 2 of them, right? So 2 sine over x over 2 equals root 2. Now we can divide by 2, get that sine by itself. Now we can ask ourselves, okay, sine of what angle is, that's what this is asking, sine of what angle is root 2 over 2, right? That's what the inverse is asking. Well, that angle is a 45-degree angle. I think we want our answers probably between 0 and 2 pi. And then so they want it in from 0 to 2 pi and 0 to 360. So here we have 45 degrees, and sine is also positive in the second quadrant, so that's 135. Okay, so that equals x over 2. So we times those by 2, get rid of that 2 there, so we get 90 degrees, and we get 270. So there's our answers there in degrees, and then in radians. From 0 to 2 pi is pi fourths and 3 pi fourths, and then we times that by 2 because it's x over 2, so we get rid of multiply by 2 on both sides, so we get x is equal to pi halves and 3 pi halves. So there you go, there's number 73. Now we can look at number 87. Okay, so here we go. We want to get sine of x over 2, the half angle by itself, so we divide by 2 root 3, so we divide by 2 root 3. So sine of x over 2 equals 3 over 2 root 3. Now we can ask ourselves what angle of sine gives us a 3 over 2 root 3, so that doesn't sound familiar, but if we go ahead and rationalize that, then that would be a root 3 over 2. Right, multiplied by root 3 on top and bottom here. So that becomes 3 on bottom. So we get a 3 on bottom and a 3 up here. And so these 3 would cancel, so we get a root 3 over 2. So root 3 over 2. And then we can ask ourselves, okay, what gives us that? What angle gives us that answer? And so that would be a 60-degree angle. So that's a pi thirds. And then also a 120-degree angle, which is a 2 pi thirds. So that's x over 2 equals those. So then times by 2, we get 120, and we get 240. And so then we get 2 pi thirds and a 4 pi thirds. So there's our answer for there. Oh, and number I guess it wasn't asking for, it was only asking for radians. And but it's asking for general solutions. So here we're looking for solutions from 0 to, oh, so if there's an x, we're in radians, and if it's a theta, then we're in degrees. So we have an x here, so that's why it's in radians rather than degrees. And so those are our answers originally, but then it wants all solutions. So that'd be x over 2 equals pi thirds plus 2 pi n, and 2 pi thirds over 3 plus 2 pi n. So then when we multiply by 2 here, this becomes 2 pi thirds plus 4 pi n. And this becomes 4 pi thirds plus 4 pi n, because I'm distributing that, multiplying everything by 2 here. And so that's why it becomes 4 pi n instead of 2 pi n.